Hey gang, welcome to Mechanical Mashup episode number 22. Now for this episode we have another suggestion that came from our Facebook page. Let me pull it up here. Hang on, it's way down there a little bit. Oh, there. Here. Okay, so Scott said, hey guys, got an idea for a mech mashup. A rig for a video camera or DSLR on a car. Car rig. The ones out there are so expensive, but no idea how I could make my own. Now, to be honest, I had no idea how to make one either, but I thought what a cool opportunity to have a little competition between me and my evil nemesis, Ben. Let's see who can build the cooler rig. Ben's going to start you off first.
So, I'm sorry you had to put up with that last episode, the 5 minutes of Dave ranting about things I've done in the past that he doesn't like, obviously. I'm going to try to take the higher road and not insult him or anything, but who am I kidding? Yes, I am going to talk about Dave for a couple of minutes. I like special effects like everybody else, but Dave likes special effects more than everybody else. He seems to want to add it to every episode. In some cases, it's really not all that great. Well, like this episode here.
So I do actually have most of my tools that I use for work engraved with my name on them. This particular ratchet that was used in the video, though, I broke at work and had to get it replaced.
Thanks, Dave. That really helped. We can also talk about Dave's choice in fashions. Sometimes it's not necessarily all that great, unless, of course, you're really into NASCAR and want to look like Billy Ray Cyrus. So, the one thing about Dave's appearance, and this was only a couple of years ago, I had to go to a costume store, like during Halloween, to find something to make myself look like him. So, I'm not sure exactly who is the one who's the horse's patoot, or what, really. Anyways, off to the build. We're going to do this camera round, and I highly suggest that you choose me for the winner of this contest, because this is, easy, and I've done it in under an hour.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is a build in real time. I'm going to show you a couple things. This is the Joby camera mount. I'll show you. If you just look below, there will be some links at MechanicalMashup.com in this post. And then a hot shoot. These two guys screw together. Just like that. And you can release one from the other. So that's the first part, and it's all purchased. Next part is you got the craft foam. It's really thin, kind of spongy. You get that at a Michael's store or most craft stores. 2x4. And the horizontal toggle clamp. Now, this will basically be the clamp that we get to go down onto the window. Chunk of scrap 2x4, and we're off to the races. Oh, one more time. You need... Not sure. Yeah, you can see that fairly good. Okay, so that's a little wood leg screw, but with a 1024 thread on it on the other end. And what we're going to do with this here is this screws into the wood, and then the other end will screw into the bottom of the jobby. So let's get to work. Make sure you choose the wood so that you get a decent piece out of it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Use a little miter box. I'd like to think that my shop is in better shape most days, but, well, I'd be lying. So, let's see. Let's make this guy about 8 inches long. You know what? 6 inches more than that. So notice one thing I was doing, I was marking with basically a razor blade. You can use a utility knife. Part of that is that way I can always see the line, regardless if it gets wet or rubbed off, and I don't have to worry about it. not sure how this is going to turn out with this miter box not being clamped down, but let's find out. We got our chunk of wood, get some contact cement. Actually, I'm gonna skip. I need the contact cement in just a moment. First thing I'm gonna do is make sure that I get a piece of foam rubber the right size. Now, it doesn't need to be the full size of the 2x4, but why not? Then we take the contact cement. I like getting this stuff's pretty cool. The Yoo-Hoo glue, it's a Noma stick, but it's a contact cement. It stinks to all high heaven, but it can be really quick for little projects like this, like gluing a template down onto a little piece of metal or anything of that nature. Hooked onto a door quite easily. So, these two things, the way contact cement works is that needs to dry, that needs to dry. And once it's dry, you put the two pieces together and it all works. So, the way a toggle clamp works, if I pull it back like this, it lifts up, push down, and it over centers and it locks down. And we're just going to lock it down with this little rubber knob. And every time I say knob, I think of, I don't know, people like Dave. But just saying. Don't forget, I will be showing you links to all this stuff so that if you need to purchase it, you can. Or if you don't know where to purchase it, you can do that online. They are going to be affiliate links, so that I do appreciate it if you buy from there, because that actually makes Mechanical Mashup a little bit of money. So, put that one together. And we're going to be adjusting these a little later. It's not exactly as dry as I'd like it to be, but it's dry enough. So the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to mount these toggle clamps on here, and I will be cutting a few little holes here, but I'm going to do a little trimming. Okay, one thing I just noticed, I heard a little crack. So what I'd probably do next time, there we go. So that's not necessarily the best thing to have happen. I think what I'd probably do is just drill some pilot holes normally first, but I'm going to trust this to be tough enough for my purposes here coming up. So now, take a look at the size of the leg, and you'll get that. It looks almost size on size. I'd probably go a little smaller than this. Something like that. Well, it looks like they'll grab the threads. I'm not sure if you can see that very carefully in there. But what I do is I generally eyeball it, make sure that I can see the threads of this leg sticking out a little further than that. So the way you can get these guys on. One nut on there, another nut on. Now, normally what I would do is get another wrench and just tighten these against each other, but since I have a vise handy, tighten it there. Now they won't slip against each other when I'm tightening this down. So we need to stand it off, something like that ought to be good. So there we go. Now, how does all this play? How does this all work? You're probably wondering. Well, this is the way I envision things working. This piece of metal, just pretend that this is the door glass and it's just come down off of your window. Put this up against here. Now, you're gonna have to be careful to make sure that this here is not necessarily touching your window, your glass of your car, and then clamp this down, just like that. And these will have to be loosened off. You don't want to be too tight, and your camera's just gonna screw onto the top of this guy here, and that will be your camera mount. Okay, so I needed to make a couple little changes here. Basically, I need to take this little mount and modify it a little bit. Here, let me show you. Alright, so what ended up happening here is when I clamp this guy down, you can see that it's pretty flush. And if I lift it up, it's basically doesn't leave a gap for the window. The window glass, I think, would be about double the thickness of this guy right there. So what I need to do is make this so that it's snug, but not tight. Now, I could cut off the little rubber thing here, but I don't know if that would be all that smart. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put risers. So I'm going to put little washers underneath this, rise this up about the thickness of the glass. Probably something about like that, maybe 3. And once I do that, then I'll try to reattach. Okay, so here's how we have the camera. We have the wood there. You can see how the rubber dampens things. Make sure that right in here, probably get that in better focus. Make sure that right in here, this isn't necessarily touching the glass. You don't want to break any of that. And these toggle clamps just basically come down, snap into place. They're fairly snug. I can snug them up a little more if I want to. You get the jobby mount, the hot shoe, and voila, you've got the camera mounted on top of the car. Well, not on top of, but sort of wedged onto the glass of the car. Part of the reason why I use this clamp here, the jobby, I've loosened it off, is I can adjust this at whatever angle. So you could have operator in the car sitting holding this and moving it around if you really need to. You do drive-by shooting if we really need to. So of course somebody's gonna ask, right? Do you really trust this thing? Is it really gonna bust off? Well, let's go for a drive. I've got a camera that's worth a fair amount. Let's find out if I trust it. You'll notice that the picture seems to be pretty clear, stable. It's all working fine. So, this is one way to get your car shot and be able to put a camera up with no problem whatsoever. Another thing that we can do here, I'm going to flip the camera around. We'll do some outside shots. One kind of pointing forward with the car, and the other one's going to be pointing out to the side so we can get the dolly shot.